Welcome back to a new video here at Life of the Bridges. Up this week we have an extremely special video coming up, as after a long wait, today is the day where I finally have something so incredibly special made for me, which represents my boy, our journey and our life and so much more, and will be with me every step of my journey from this day forward. What I am having made is so incredibly special and has so much meaning behind it. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to follow our journey. But for now, let's watch this masterpiece unfold.
Good morning. Today I am doing something so exciting, as it means the absolute world to me, but also could interest you guys. So, brief story. I have wanted a piece of jewellery that represents Teddy for such a long time now. And I found this piece of jewellery online which you can imprint Teddy's fingerprint onto a signet ring and get it engraved in there. So for Christmas, that is exactly what Katie and Teddy got me. And when it arrived, it was lovely. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, me wearing it for 3 to 4 weeks, it started scratching and the fingerprint started fading. So cut a long story short, I sent this back and went on a hunt for a new jeweller to create me this amazing piece of jewellery, which is close to my heart. And I found the perfect lady. Now, this lady I found is local in our area, which is amazing that I can give back to local, but she also been in the bespoke handmade memorial jewellery industry for so many years. We have come up with a bespoke idea to how to make this piece of jewellery for me super special. And I'm going to take you along for the ride and show you how we're going to create this piece of jewellery, which is going to have some of Teddy's hair that fell out during his transplant. Put into a resin stone and embedded into the ring that she is going to be making for me. But I'm going to be taking you guys with us, taking you through all of the stages of how this ring is going to be created from a piece of silver into the final product. And I am so excited, and I've waited so long for this. And I just can't wait to always have a piece of Teddy with me everywhere I go. Now, I know the piece of jewellery that I am having made isn't a memorial piece, but it is a piece of jewellery that is going to always be with me, as it's been a big part of our journey of when Teddy's hair fell out, and allow me to remember those times as part of our journey that we've been through as the Bridge family. And to be able to have a visible piece of hair will always just ground me and bring me back down to earth and know how far we've come on this journey. And the reason for me wanting to document this is I know you guys, as our amazing subscribers, a lot of you have been through really tough journeys as well with either yourself or your family members. And I thought this sort of product may appeal to some of you guys as our subscribers. This isn't a paid ad. This isn't a sponsorship. It is merely me looking and paying for a piece of jewellery that will mean the absolute world for me. So I therefore wanted to share the whole process to you guys as our subscribers, just in case you are looking for a handmade piece of bespoke jewellery that helps you remember somebody. She does lots and lots of different things. She does things like ashes and stones. She does gems. She does rings, necklaces, hair imprints, so many different things. I will go through all of that when we are there filming the process of my ring being made. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out her website, which I'll put in the link in the description below. I can't wait. It's a special day today, guys, and you guys are coming with us. So in this amazingly cute box is Teddy's hair that we scraped up off his bed linen when we were in transplant. And my first port of call before I go and have this jewellery made is to put some pieces of hair in this little bag so that can be placed into the resin and create my gem. It is so weird that this hair, oh my goodness. It was in Teddy's head when he was having his life-saving treatment and all the chemotherapy that made this hair come out. Oh, it's pretty intense. But anything that doesn't get used, I'll be able to bring back, but I'm going to keep this special bag of hair back at home in its special little box. And yeah, whew. This is such a positive experience, and I completely understand that so many people go through this
and it is just the hardest thing in the world, because they usually are putting pieces of hair or ashes into a piece of jewellery from a loved one that has passed away. Whereas for me, this is so lovely for it to be such a positive experience, because I'm creating a piece of jewellery that is just going to be with me forever, and so is Teddy. So it's so important for me to do this now, because I want it to be a positive experience. I want it to just be so memorable for me. But enough waffle. That is that done. Time to take Teddy's hair and go and turn this into a ring.
Hi, my name is Wendy Kemp, and my business is Wendy Kemp Jewellery, and I specialise in making memorial jewellery. I've been making jewellery for about 30 years, but I've done all kinds of areas, selling to shops, exhibitions, I've taught, I've done classes, but it's only now that I realised that all of the previous things that I've done have been a step to what I'm doing now, which is making memorial jewellery, which I just feel so blessed to be able to do, because it has so much meaning for my customers, and it's really such an honour to make something so meaningful for them. So today I'm going to make Scott's ring, and what I've got here is a piece of solid sterling silver. I've just done a little pilot hole here, because once it's made round, then the hair is going to be set inside this little area here, which I'll be making bigger. But first of all, it's quite a thick, chunky piece of silver, so I'm going to anneal it, which means that it's going to soften. So when I anneal it, annealing means that you just kind of softening those molecules by heat. There we go. So I just want to get this silver to a cherry red colour, and it just means the molecules relax a little bit, meaning that it's easier to bend. There we go. There we go. Right, so now I'm going to go over here to my mandrel. So an X is up here, but I'm going to kind of work down there and use this hammer here. So this is a hammer that's got a nylon edge. It just means that when I hit it, it's not going to mark it. Okay. So that's kind of starting to take shape now. Now I need to do the other side. So the idea is to get these ends really nicely together. The better the join now, the better the join will be when you come to have the finished product. So it doesn't really matter. It's going to be wonky and it's going to be a bit oval looking. The important thing is to get this joined together. And it may end up being too big, which will take a little bit out. It may end up being a bit small where we can stretch it. So at the moment, if you look at it, it's not quite together here. It's come together a bit like this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a little bit of that material out of the bottom so it joins nicely up at the top. I'll go over here. So by taking a little bit of that material off at the bottom, it just means that the join is better. Surprising jewellery, you can actually be quite brutal with it, with a hammer. You know, everyone thinks that it's quite a delicate, you know, material, but you have to sometimes give it a little bit of welly with your
Absolutely.
welly with your hammer in.
I was in awe of what Wendy had created here. She had been in this space for over 21 years and year by year created what you see today. a calm, therapeutic and relaxing workplace at the bottom of her garden to be able to work her magic and create individual pieces of jewellery for so many customers to be able to cherish for years. Each and every piece of jewellery had so much meaning and a story behind it.
What are these?
These are wood blocks that are hand carved in India, made from sustainable shisham wood. I designed them and I support a little community in India who do them for me. But basically these originated from my first book. So the designs are from my first book that I wrote and illustrated, which is about the global pandemic, but written from Little Blackbird's point of view. It's got lots of underlying wisdom within it. So things like When the Bird Sang Louder is the name of the book. That's the chimney. That's this one here.
Oh wow, yeah.
I got carried away. I wrote the book. I painted watercolours as a daily art task for myself and for my daughter. But pieces like this one here, which is we had time to be still and the importance of stillness. And we could just hear the bees buzzing around the blossom. So this necklace here is with the bees buzzing around the blossom.
And you've made all of this jewellery too?
Yeah. So
wow.
This is what and then one day I'd like to have an exhibition of the necklaces that were inspired from the book. So it could be like in my plan is to have it in like 4 years' time. So it's 10 years.
Oh wow, okay.
From COVID. The pins help it to just stay in place. There we go. So what I need to do now is just put on this mineral here, which is a flux, and it cleans the area so that when I put the solder on, the solder will run. If I don't put this on, then the solder will just kind of go into a little blob on the top. And then I use this solder here. I have a feeling it might be too big, so we'll be resoldering it. So the solder is silver, but it's not the same quantity of silver as the sterling silver. If it had the same amount of silver in it, it would have the same melting point, which would mean that when you heat it up, everything would melt, including your ring. So it's got different alloys in it to bring the melting point down. So it's got a lower melting point than the silver. Okay, so I'm just going to heat round the ring. Gently to start with, just so that that solder doesn't fly up. Like that. And then what happens is the solder goes into a little ball and then it just flows into the join and it kind of like has a little shimmery effect. There we go, it's on its way now. And it just floods into that join. There we go. There we go, can you see it's all shiny? Wow. So that's gone in there and now it's oxidized. It means it's gone black because of the heat. So I'm going to put it into my acid, which will strip off that black. So this is it's a safety acid. Now we've got a wonky ring that we need to make round. So I could put it on the mandrel, but I've got a very lovely ring stretcher here that does that job for me.
Ah, look at that.
So I just kind of go down here and it makes it lovely and round. It's going to have a texture on the outside. It makes it a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it up, then put the texture on, and then we'll size it. So nice and round.
Wow.
Just going to give it a bit of a whack to make it flat and even. So this is a hide hammer, a bit like the nylon hammer. It's not going to mark the metal. I'm going to tidy up the outside edge and make it nice and smooth, and then we'll do the texturing. I'm going to do that with fine. I'm going to use some really coarse emery paper, and I can push really hard and get that edge flat, because at the moment if you look at it, then it's kind of, the edges go a little bit like that. So I'm wanting them nice and flat.
As I watched my amazing ring start to take shape and the incredible talent and skill that goes into it, I couldn't help but take myself back to our journey and the reason why I was having this ring made. Our journey with our little cup has taught us so many lessons about life on the way, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you guys have been a part of it from the start. And watching and being a part of this sentimental piece of jewellery being created made it so incredibly special.
Okay, seeing as though you're here, we might as well just try it for size. Oh, that's fine. It's a bit small. In that case, I'll
think I
carry
could
on.
get that on.
Yeah, I did. Where the solder joint was, I left it just in case we needed to take a piece out. But we're not going to be there to take a piece out. So I might as well just carry on filing that join so that we don't see it. So what I'll do now is I'll carry on and I'll texture it, put the dimply texture on. That'll stretch it a bit. Then we'll try again for size. And then if it's still a little bit too small, then I'll put it on my ring stretcher and we can stretch it up a bit. I think it's going to be fine now, I'm not worried. I'm confident. She says. Oh.
You'd think that because he's lost his hair in the past, it wouldn't actually matter. Whereas not the case. It's still not very nice. You get so used to seeing the way that your son's presenting, and he's presenting so well with his new hair, and it's like Teddy was grand back sort of thing. And I woke up this morning, just patches everywhere and hair all over the pillows, and it's so sad, man. But it's part of the process. He doesn't mind, so I shouldn't mind. And hopefully, as I said before, it'll be for the last time, and we can grow a whole lock of hair that is hopefully to stay forever. But big deep breath, big smile. Big strong boy. Yeah. Say big strong boy. Yeah. You are super strong. What noise does a sheep make? Bah. You look so cute.
I think if I'd done this job 30 years ago when I'd left uni, I wouldn't have had all of the confidence. I think it's taken up till now to have, with my own illness, I have and my own experience of going through, a serious illness, that I have that wisdom of compassion for people.
Absolutely.
And
it's so important.
Yeah.
Especially when you're making such incredible piece of jewellery for people that have been through similar journeys.
Yeah.
I think it'd be important for you to understand what we've been through, what people go through, and it's incredible.
Yeah. And that's, I couldn't have done what I do now all those years ago. And also the amount of experience those years have had gives me the confidence to do something, because it's such a responsibility.
Absolutely.
You really don't want to get it wrong.
100%.
So you've got to have, confidence in yourself and your work.
Yeah.
So if, I wouldn't have had that confidence years ago, just because. Also, I wouldn't have had all of the years of making. I'd have been too worried about, is it going to go wrong?
Yeah.
And it is very stressful.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Lose sleep over things like that, don't you?
Absolutely.
It's not jewellery. There's so much more than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so you're taking on the responsibility of other people's emotions and
That's
stuff,
it.
which is huge.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I don't take on commissions where people go, oh, I've got my great grandmother's engagement ring and I want to have it refurbished into something else. And to me, that's too much responsibility. There is other jewellers out there who do an amazing job, and they're good at, they're great at that. But for me, I need to feel comfortable in making this, that it's not going to go wrong, that I can put so much love into it, and it's a very smooth, process. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is make a really nice dimply texture on the surface of the ring. This time I used this ball peen hammer, and by hammering it with a metal hammer you're obviously going to make little dints. You see that?
Useful. I had the option to whether I wanted the ring to be smooth or textured, and I chose to have it textured to represent the ups and downs of our journey with Teddy, the highs and lows of emotion we experienced back then, and the highs and lows of the life we're experiencing now, and also what's to come. Life isn't plain sailing, ladies and gentlemen, and it's important we allow ourselves to ride the ups and downs and embrace them, as it helps create the people we are today.
This is one of my favourite machines. I started my jewellery business when I was at college. When I was at uni, I worked for a designer jeweller, and all the money that I earned from working for her, I invested in tools and equipment. So yeah, so that was about 32 years ago, and I still haven't stopped.
Wow.
It's just there's always something a new design that you think you come up with a new design and it needs a different tool or equipment.
Absolutely, it's ever progressing.
It is, yeah. But maybe I have stopped now. But that's famous last words.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so refreshing to be able to share this time with Wendy, watching and hearing about somebody else who has had their own health struggles in life, but has worked through them and channeled her passion of handmade jewellery into a wonderful business which creates so much warmth, comfort and happiness in the products she creates for people. Having this time to share our stories to each other while she made my priceless piece of jewellery was a true breath of fresh air. Up next, Wendy took the ring over to be polished, and this was where we started to see the vision of what the final product was going to look like. All of the dirt and hard work was being polished off to present an amazing, shiny, textured ring. Wow, look at that.
Look at that.
It makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. Look at
It
it
looks
sparkle. Yeah,
Incredible.
lovely. Okay, so now I'm going to open that hole a little bit.
We were getting so close to finishing the ring, and all that was left to do was to insert the coloured resin inside the cavity, then carefully place Teddy's hair into the resin, then add a clear resin on top and let the resin set. But first, part of Wendy's process of creating memorial jewellery was to bless the hair and the ring, which was all very new to me, but absolutely incredible to experience.
Right, so once I've finished a piece of jewellery, I like to perform a little blessing ceremony, and it clears the space, and I invoke Archangel Azrael, Raphael, green Tara, white Tara. I'm a Buddhist, but I kind of a bit of spirituality thrown in there. Buddha always said, find your own truth, so this is my truth. And so I bless the memorial item and I bless the jewellery. I invoke all of these archangels and Buddhas, and when I feel the energy come through, they ask them to bless the jewellery and bless the wearer and bless the soul that has passed. But obviously this isn't past, I'll be blessing little Teddy. So first of all, I'm just going to put the Teddy's hair and the ring on my calcite crystal, and then just cleanse the space, and I just say my little prayer. May all beings be happy and create the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be without the sacred happiness which has no suffering. May they attain universal impartial compassion beyond worldly bias to all friends and enemies. May all beings be happy and create the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be without the sacred happiness which has no suffering. May they attain universal impartial compassion beyond worldly bias to all friends. May all beings be happy and create the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be without the sacred happiness which has no suffering. May they attain universal impartial compassion beyond worldly bias. I I'd like to call on the energy of Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, Green Tarot and White Tarot, Buddha Nature, the Divine Source, Universal Energy. Come through me, use me as a vessel to send your energies to this ring. May it be blessed with your energy, love, healing, strength. May the energy come through and bless the wearer, Scott, and bless everybody.
Amazing.
The time was here. I picked my resin colour and Wendy delicately placed it into the ring and then carefully cut a small clump of Teddy's hair into the resin and then covered the rest of the cavity in clear resin, which allows you to see the hair. This was incredibly fiddly to do, but Wendy did an incredible job. Once the resin had set after a quick polish, and just like that, we had my final product, and it was everything I'd asked for. This wasn't just any piece of jewellery to me. This ring had so much meaning behind it. It's a ring that I now felt that every action, step, and moment I took going forward, the dark memories of the past were going to help me like the memories of the future. It signified our journey through the hardest days that we've walked on this earth. It represents the strength, courage, and determination in which we had to show when we were fighting to save our son's life. But also will forever be a reminder to me that just one glance down towards my thumb will remind me of how far we have come as a family, the feelings we have felt, the bumpy texture to the ring representing our path we have trodden, the emerald green colour of the resin marking his birthstone colour, and most importantly, the tight grouping of hair that lays in the middle of the ring, highlighting possibly one of the hardest moments of our life, watching your child's hair fall out for the first time. Although this is a horrible thought to be reminded of so frequently, it will more importantly remind me of where we are today, and that tough times in the present will one day just be a memory, and that in the darkest moments of your life, when there feels like there's no hope or even a future, it reminds me that light always follows darkness, and better days are coming. Anyone who is interested in getting a piece of jewellery made by Wendy, then please head to the description below where there will be a link to her website with all her contact details on. There will also be some links to the books that she has written and illustrated as well. That's a perfect time to end that video there. If you like this video, give it a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, a huge thank you to our Bridge family members, and remember, live for today, as tomorrow is never promised. We'll catch you in the next one, chaps.